All right, well, we can go ahead and get started. Like I said, my name is Chuck Caldwell. I work with the Parma City School District. I'm happy to expand on any of the things that I talked about. If you want to write this down, I'll also give you, we have our own website that we use to connect with the students that's outside of our district one. So it's pcsdconnects.org. And I'm still working on, we don't start school until September 8th, so I'm still working on building it out and things like that. But if you just want to get a little bit better idea of some of the things that we're working on and some of the opportunities that we're going to be providing to kids, I might give you a little bit better visual of those things. So like I said, we're still going to be doing some virtual guest speakers, some industry tours, virtual workshops on resume writing, interviewing skills. We're actually going to be starting a digital badge program. I don't know if you're familiar with Badger, but you can create and award badges to students. So we're actually going to give out badges for students participating in, specific work-based learning opportunities, 21st century skills. If they complete activities, we'll award them badges and we'll, provide a chance to win prizes and stuff like that if you collect so many badges. Just to, like I said, just to try and engage students as much as possible throughout the school year, or at least these first 9 weeks that were virtual. And I'll still be connecting with kids to do the internships and stuff like that. But I'd love to hear a little bit more about you guys and, kind of what your plans are and what your school districts look like right now. And so feel free to add in. Sorry, Sally, I can't hear you. It looks like your microphone's on, but Becky, can you hear her when she's talking?
Yes.
You can?
No, I can't hear her.
Oh, okay. Still can't hear you. Well, Becky, do you want to talk a little bit about your school district and what you do? And
yeah, so I work with Portland Community College, and we went remote in March. And I have a diverse student group that I work with. So I serve all students, and then I specialize in helping our tech and multimedia from my campus, which is mostly multimedia, not computer science students. And then I also help the pre-trades, so electricians and people like that. So very diverse group. Mm-hmm. And so when we went remote, we had all of the trades prep students. We gave them incompletes for spring term because we were going to bring them back in the fall to do the hands-on portion. And then we did the same thing with the summer students. But now we've got both batches of students where now we've said we're going to be remote through March.
Oh,
we're
wow.
going to be remote through fall and winter terms because we're on the term system.
Right.
And so that means that there's these hands-on pieces that current students aren't going to get to complete their prep. So they're prepped to go into trades. And then the CTE, that's 40 programs impacted by going remote and it's I guess you guys probably know, but community colleges are a huge pipeline into the healthcare right. workforce. Mm-hmm. All the the medical assistants, the lab, they're all community college educated workforce, right? So we just found this out, so we're all just kind of reeling and reverberating from this news. And the students are being steered to ask us questions, and we're still trying to figure out what this all means. So we've got the current students who are they going to be able to finish their programs, and what happens to those incompletes? And then we got the ones trying to come into the programs and what we're doing with them. So all of that being said, that if I can find the resources that I can plug in my colleagues to how people are making remote internships work, we are seeing success in, so some of my students, that was an easy transition. So we have an American Bar Association accreditation for our paralegal department. And those students were able to go remote pretty easily. We only lost 1 or 2 students who were already lined up to do internships for paralegal. So law firms have been great. The paralegal program's doing great. Those guys are in good shape. It's the other CTE where it's very hands-on. If there's other solutions out there for how people are making this happen, we are not allowing any in-person internships or instruction, nothing, because we had a radiography program and there was a breakout. I mean, they did everything. They were PPE, the whole 9 yards, everything they could figure out they were doing to keep, because these radiography students are part of the critical, infrastructure. Right. And sure enough, COVID broke out, and they said, okay, we cannot do this safely. There's just not a way. So I'm kind of in this, my bell is still ringing about where we're at and what it means. But any resources around how we can plug people in, man, I'm all about that. If there's anything that people can do remotely that's going to be a good substitute, or ways that the faculty can see to award the completion to these students. And then the other thing is, one of the things that caught my attention is, years ago we were looking at portfolio opportunities, and they were looking, I can't remember if we were on Blackboard or D2L, but it was like there was some portfolio thing where it was only going to be for a term, and it wasn't portable and all of that. I'm like, well, you should just use LinkedIn, because it's portable, it goes with the student, they own it, it's theirs. And, I never got any traction with that at the time, but I still think it's a great idea. And I love to hear more about what you're doing in that arena as well. So thank you for this.
Yeah, so that's actually something that we're looking to get a little bit more into, is the digital portfolios and things like that. LinkedIn, that is a great opportunity. It's, what Mike had to say was very valuable, because, I think that is a great opportunity, because it's already that built-in network of professionals. I'll be interested to learn, connect with him in the future and learn a little bit more about, how open are the people that these students are connecting with, or is he connecting with these individuals first and then the students are, or is it the students just kind of reaching out to kind of probe and see if there's any internship opportunities available. But yeah, that's really hard. That's one of our struggles too, is even just like with the instruction part of it, is with being remote and not having these hands-on opportunities for these more of the trades type programs. That's why we're actually allowing kids to still go out on internships, because they need to have those hands-on experiences. Because of that, it's so important. So even though they're not in the classroom, we are still letting them go out on internships, just because it is that valuable hands-on experience that that they really can't. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. If there was a way for us to do that remotely, we certainly would. All of our instructors, we did buy like webcams and stuff like that, so they can do like demonstrations in the classroom and be able to, it's not just on a laptop where they have a computer on it. So we did buy like webcams with tripods, so they can do a little bit more of the, demonstrations and stuff like that. We also do have.
So are the faculty in the classrooms?
Correct. Yes.
And the students are remote?
Correct. Yeah. So our instructors will be coming back in the fall. The vast majority of them. I'm sure there will be a couple that have kids at home and stuff like that they don't necessarily need to be in the classroom. But
can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. Okay, I just made a change to my system here. Is your district sponsoring these internships, and they're allowing students to participate?
So yes, the students have to have parental permission if they're under 18 years old. If they're over 18, we actually, I don't necessarily agree with it, but we, even like for field trips and stuff like that, like the kid can sign their own papers, which
we still make them sign. We still make the parents' signatures.
I would actually prefer if kids
required.
Did, yeah. We don't require kids to do that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so if a kid's 18 and they want to do an internship, we will allow them to. If they're under 18, they do have to have parental permission. Okay. And even with like our sports and stuff like that, I wouldn't be surprised if we make them sign some sort of COVID waiver, just to say, release us from the liability of that.
Are your students typically unpaid or paid? Are they doing this?
We
them saying there's a difference.
Okay. Right. For this, I wouldn't tell a kid to go do an unpaid internship.
Yeah. Right. No, I agree.
Right.
Okay.
Because you think about it, a lot of our high school kids, as much as I want them to keep them safe and stuff like that, a lot of them are working as essential employees already. So they don't really mind that much as far as going out and taking these internships, because it's it's better than working at the grocery store that they have to work at anyway. So
I need to investigate that a little bit, because last March we had so many experiences, job shadowing and internship set up, that we required, we had to cancel them.
Yes, and we did last year. We
Okay.
did in the spring semester. We canceled all of our internships just because there were so many unknowns. And again, not that I really think that it's like that great of an idea for kids to be going out. I'll be completely honest with you, but I think we still want to provide that opportunity to the students that do feel comfortable doing that. And I'm sure there's a lot of and I'm sure there's a lot of companies that will keep them safe. That's my big goal this year too, is to find. I do think that this has opened up some opportunities for more remote internships, just because, I mean, how many companies have pushed back against it in the past because it's just not how they do things? Well, now they've had the opportunity to figure out how to do this. So I think more companies might be more apt to allowing students to do that. So that'll be a big thing too, just because even without COVID, we have so many kids with transportation issues and stuff like that.
It allows them to still have a pipeline.
Right. So to still have the ability to, have some kids, even if they're in the classroom, do some remote internship opportunities would be huge for us. So
interesting. May I ask another question? Chuck, you mentioned in the whole group session that you plan to go and do the taping, like you're going to go to these job sites and facilities, and you are going to do the taping and interviewing. That's really interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I was going to ask our many partners if they would be willing to do that type of work for us. Are you finding that people are willing to allow you in?
Yeah, I've had, I haven't reached out to a ton of people yet, just because, like I said, we haven't even started school yet. I just started back like August 3rd, so I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, I've already had like 5 or 6 companies say that they're willing to do it. Obviously, we would follow all the social distancing rules that they have and everything. I'd wear a mask and all of that. But yeah, I would just kind of take in a webcam with me on a tripod, and again, just ask them some interview questions about their company. I mean, it really is a great way for them to promote their business. It's
a lot less of an ask if you're going in and doing it, as opposed to asking them to produce the entire thing.
Exactly. And even, I've started reaching out to some people about, being virtual guest speakers. I mean, it's kind of nice for them to be able to sit in their office and provide the same opportunities that they were. And they're not traveling 20 minutes back and forth. They're not, don't have to sign in and get a name back. It's actually kind of easier on some of the employers. So they're actually,
absolutely.
I'm not going to say more willing, but, I've actually found some more people that are interested in doing it this way.
Thank you for suggesting that. That kind of opens up some different possibilities for me. One of the things that several of the speakers, the way they were speaking about how they're setting up their programming, seemed like it was more like district directed in terms of, okay, this is what we're offering you. Our approach has always been more teacher directed. So I'm kind of, been reaching out to teachers. What are your needs? What are you looking for? Right now I'm creating a form with a list of possibilities that myself and our guidance counselors can assist with, because with them setting up their distance learning plans, that's overwhelming.
Right.
And so we want to be able to help them with their work-based learning. But it was just interesting to hear, maybe we need to take more of an approach like that as opposed to letting them direct it. I don't know what the right way to go is.
Yeah, and I'll be completely honest, it is probably a little bit district driven on our end, but it's also teacher driven too, because it is just me providing these opportunities. So there has to be that collaboration with the teachers. And it's not like I don't ever just say, hey, I'm coming in and doing this. Like, it's always built into, what is your needs? When is a good time for me to do these things? So even like this fall, when we're remote, our teachers they'll have like blocks where, on Mondays, they just have like office hours and they can do enrichment activities if they want to. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be 1st through 4th period. And then Wednesdays and Fridays will be 5th through 8th. So, but they don't start until like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I have time in the mornings from, 8:30 to 10 to, do activities with kids that teachers. So it's actually kind of nice to have that time built in where I can do these activities and the teachers can say, hey, you have to do this. It's part of your grade, whatever it might be. But yeah, we are pretty teacher driven too. And it is a lot of, what are your needs? Some teachers might not want to take advantage of all the opportunities that we provide. Other teachers want to do more. So it really is.
That's interesting. Okay. And then I typed in the website. It's PCSB Connects with an S. Is that
Sorry,
correct?
yes, PCSD. D as in
D.
dog. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
PC.
and it connects.org.
Got it. Thank you. I will
And sorry,
definitely check that
what
out.
is your role and what school district are you with?
Yeah, so I am, so I was a college and career counselor for many years at one of our technical high schools. I'm in St. Louis County, Missouri. I'm part of our special school district of St. Louis County. So our district, it's somewhat unique in that we provide special ed and technical ed services to all high school students, to all students in St. Louis County. The bulk of what we do is special ed, but in a small percentage is tech ed, which we provide through 2 technical high schools, and we also have an adult ed division. And so, you know, we like at each school we have about 26 different technical programs, and so a lot of teachers that I will be trying to provide support through to during this whole
Right.
virtual learning quarter, probably maybe semester. So it's going to be interesting. And so I was really excited to learn about this group. This is my first time that I'm really involved in a meeting, and I can see that it's going to be very helpful.
Yeah, yeah, I actually I'm fairly new to it as well. So it's been a great resource, and I'm happy to, you know, connect with people and learn more.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm kind of learning as I go right now as well, because, you know, this is kind of
Right.
territory.
It really,
So
really is. Yeah. Just when you spoke, it just seemed like where you were is kind of where I was too, which is why I
right,
really wanted to connect. And you're also doing contests, which I really liked.
yes, yes. So like I said, we have it's actually a national organization, but they're based here in Cleveland. It's called the Young Entrepreneurship Institute, and
Okay.
they have a bunch of different opportunities for entrepreneurship. Like I said, we're going to do pitch challenges, and we break it up like K through 4, 5 through 8, and then 9 through 12. So we're actually going to do 3 of them. The first one's going to be like just come up with a business idea and pitch it, you know, in 60 seconds. The second one's going to be I'm going to, you know, take advantage of the situation that we're in, and I'm going to tell kids to think of a problem that they see with virtual learning and try and come up with a product or a solution on how to improve virtual learning, whether it be for parents, students, teachers, and again, just pitch that.
Cool.
And then in November, we're going to do pick like an organization or a foundation that, you know, promotes something that you're passionate about, and basically give like a fundraising pitch on why people should support those organizations. So,
Okay.
and then, like I said, we'll give out prizes and stuff like that to the winners. They can submit everything through our website. Then like November, December, January, we're looking at doing like a stock market challenge for kids like 4th and 12th grade, where they'll get, you know, create an account, they'll get like $100,000 in fake money and be able to invest it in different things and just see, you know, learn a little bit more about the stock market investing.
Okay.
And then every March we do, it's called Young Entrepreneurs Day. And it's actually something that we kind of took from the Young Entrepreneurship Institute. They do something called Lemonade Day. But we didn't want to have 50 kids all make lemonade stands. So we just called it Young Entrepreneurs Day. And they create their own business ideas. They have to come up with a business plan, a marketing plan, a budgeting plan. They make these trifold boards that they decorate with all their different ideas, and then they present them to like a panel of judges on the actual day. And then we have some entrepreneurship speakers come in and talk to the kids while we're tallying scores, and then we do an award ceremony. So we've actually given out like almost $3,000 the past 2 years in prizes, and it's kids love it. So so we do that for kids in 3rd through 6th grade. And then I still have to find something to do, but I'm looking to do some sort of like coding or tech challenge as well in the spring to do with, I mean, I'm hoping we're back in
school
at that point.
So you're working with all ages.
Correct. Yeah. So I work mostly, you know, in a normal setting, I work mostly with our career tech students, but I also work with all of the K, because we're a comprehensive high school. So, comprehensive high schools. So we have 16 programs housed at our 3 different high schools that are within our district. And then, yeah, we obviously just have like our general K through 12 education as well. So this year I'm trying to be a little bit more engaged with them as well, just because I will have a little bit of that time as well. So.
Okay. Well, this has been really helpful.
Yep.
And I don't know if Becky has any other questions.
Not at the moment, but I really do appreciate it. I mean, you've got my mind at least spinning on, because, career services, it's all about the employer engagement and
Right.
helping students get internships. And, you probably know, but, the world of working from home is just rife with scams.
Right.
So I've got all these adults that, now they want to work from home. And I mean, that's been scammer heaven forever, working from home. And now, there's legit opportunities, but how do you sort that out? And so all of this stuff. And we did, I manage a huge job fair that we do every year. I mean, we're talking, around 1,000 attendees, both students and community members, upward, 100 plus employers. I mean, it's a big, big one. And I'm not satisfied with any of the tools that I've seen for online job fairs. And I don't see it making it equitable and inclusive. So, it's all these different issues, but it all goes back to the employers, engaging them, using platforms that work for them, using tools that work for them. And so I'm really intrigued by this idea of contests. I mean, I have a different environment than you. That being said, I'm looking for new innovative ways to engage with employers, and that could be a thing. I mean, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And we've done, we before all of this, there were others that were doing pitch challenges and things of that nature. So I will look into seeing whether those things, the way they were doing those things before, are translating online as well. So you've given me a lot of ideas.
Yeah, and that's actually something that we want to do more of specifically for our career tech programs too, is because, the student organizations like HOSA and DECA and, those things, I have no idea if they're going to have their competitions in the spring. They didn't last spring.
FBLA went virtual.
Right. So even to have, some competitions within our career tech programs as well, even if we do virtually, connect with some other schools in our area to do some virtual competitions. But, again, that's a great way to engage businesses to say, hey, can you come and judge our event, or, log in and, listen to these kids' pitches or whatever, just to engage them. Because I find that the internship is always like the last ask that I ask of an employer. It's always like, hey, can you come and be a guest speaker, or can you do a mock interview, and get them in front of students, let them have a positive experience with our kids, and then, go to the job shadowing and the internships, just to, to just go and ask somebody for an internship right off the bat really doesn't work, I've found. So it's always trying to engage them in little pieces, and then, when the timing's right, say, okay, what are the opportunities that you might be able to provide in-house for our students. So.
That's awesome. May I ask one more question? How are you documenting all your business partners and your partnership work, your activities?
So before, it was actually an Excel spreadsheet. And now I actually built a platform, and it was something that I promised Kelly that I wouldn't promote right now. So I promise that I will connect with you on that on a later time.
So because she told me that No, I'd love to, Chuck. Are you familiar with Seamless WBL?
Yes, that was actually kind of the inspiration behind it, but I wanted
that's what we're using.
But I wanted it to be a little bit more engaging for the students as well as the employers. So there's a little bit more to it than just, the connection.
Interesting. So, how can I connect with you to learn more about
if you want to shoot me an email, it's
it was okay, go ahead.
Okay, yep, yeah, you can just email me there.
Okay, I'll look up the sheet from Kelly and email you, and maybe for a little bit more information on that. Seamless is working. Great. It's working for us, but I think just really encouraging teachers to be good about documenting what they're doing. It's just it takes effort, and I have to remember to do that. We just took a field trip, or we just did that. And so I question how accurate it is.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure your platform probably requires that to some extent too.
Right. Yeah. But it does. But I'd love to connect on it and talk about it a little bit further. So
good. That's great. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. All right. Well, nice talking to both of you. Thank you.
Yes, you as well. It was very nice meeting both of you.
Take care, guys.
Take care.